Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel PantherSchools. My name is Amit Singh, and in this video we are going to talk about how you can integrate ChatGPT with Salesforce. I know I'm a little bit late on this topic, but we are really going to see how to get the APIs, how to get it working with the help of Postman, and we are also going to see how you can integrate ChatGPT with Salesforce as well. So before we go ahead, please give it a like, share, subscribe, also press the bell icon so that you don't miss any update from our channel. So now let's quickly get started with ChatGPT. So to get started with ChatGPT, what we need is we need the account for platform.openai.com. If you already have a ChatGPT account, it would be easy for all of us to log in into the platform AI and then get the API key, because if we really wanted to integrate ChatGPT, we really need the API key. So this is the URL, basically platform.openai.com. If you don't have the account on it, you can go ahead and sign up for this account, and then you need to click on this personal on the top right and click on view API key. So the very first thing is that we really need the API key so that we can connect our Postman or our Salesforce with OpenAI, where OpenAI will get to know that okay, this person who is making a request is the authentic person and I can trust him or her, and then he or she can see the response, whatever response that OpenAI is sending back to us. Okay, so to create the key, you really need to click on create new secret key, provide the name of your key, okay, and then click on create secret key. It is going to generate the key for you. Go ahead and do copy and paste it somewhere, because if you don't copy it, you would really not be able to see the key again. Okay, so just go ahead, copy it and paste it somewhere at one place from where you can easily access it. Okay, I already have the API key with me, so I have not pasted it. Next thing that we have to do is now you really need to click on this API reference. This API reference is the page from where you can learn all endpoints about the OpenAI platform, and it is very easy to make the API call to any OpenAI endpoint, whatever the endpoints that we have. We will mainly focus on the chat endpoint because this is what is useful for us. You can also try to use images or files or audio files. This is really cool platform where you can just give it a try to make the API calls with Salesforce. As I said earlier, we are mainly going to focus on this chat create chat completion, which is really useful, that we are going to utilize in our WhatsApp integration as well. So this is the URL, the base URL that you found, right? api.openai.com. This is the version 1 chat and completion. And if you see on the right hand side itself, you would see that there is a curl URL here, and if you want, you can change it to maybe Node.js or Python. Currently they are only giving the 3 options, but we will see how we can easily change it as per our need. So you can see the URL is openai.com, the URL that we talked about. Content type is application.json. Authorization, this is the header that we need to pass, and bearer and the key that we have copied. Okay, and this is the body that we really need to pass to the OpenAI, and this is how what kind of response we are going to get from OpenAI. Okay, so that's what we have. Now let's go ahead, and without further delay, we are going to go ahead, open the Postman, and from the Postman I'm going to showcase you how you can make the API call first, and then we are going to make the API call using our Apex class as well. So this is my workspace. This is my workspace where I'm working with ChatGPT. So you can see I've created a request, but I'm going to showcase you how you can create the request. So once you're in Postman, I hope you know how to use Postman, because we have already used the Postman as part of Salesforce plus WhatsApp integration series. So click on this new, and once you click on new, it will ask maybe what kind of what you really wanted to do. We really wanted to make a HTTP request. So click on that, it will open a request for you. This is going to be an untitled request. Now it is asking which URL you wanted to make, what is the method. So method is post, URL we can go ahead and quickly copy from the document, paste it here, and make sure that there is no extra character or nothing, right? You got it. Now for the header part, there are two things that we need to add. One is content type and another one is authorization. Content type we have seen is going to be application.json, application by JSON, and authorization is bearer space and then the API key that we have. I have API key, but I wanted to generate a new API key so that I can showcase you that I'm using the new API key itself. And then paste it after bearer, okay? You got your API key is working. Now for the body, we need to click on this raw. Then the JSON is going to be automatically selected because we have already done the header as content type application by JSON. And we can take the dummy body from the document itself, and then we will keep making the changes to see the different kind of response. So let's go ahead. I just copied the response. I just copied the body from the document, pasted it here in our Postman request under the body itself. So you could see there are few things that it takes. What is the model? There are multiple models that ChatGPT does provide, and if you really wanted to know what are all the models that ChatGPT has for us, you can go to the initial introduction. Sorry, not introduction. This model part, and you can make a Git API call, and you will see all the models listed down there. In our use case, this GPT 3.5 Turbo, that's also going to work. So we really don't need to bother about changing the model. Then we have to send the messages in the form of array. So you can see role is user and just the content we wanted to search. We are saying hello. Go ahead, click on send. And once you click on send, you see this is how the response we are going to receive from our chat GPT. The ID of our chat, when created, was the model we have used, what's the usage, okay, and then choices. Choices is going to be the actual response which is going to take the message, and under the message we are going to have the content which says that hello there, how can I assist you, okay. If you wanted to change, let's say that who is PantherSchools, I'm just changing the text here, the content, and click on send. So now if you click on send, you can see here it says that as an AI language model, I don't have the information about a specific organization or individuals. And maybe if I remove the space in between, maybe we see the response. I haven't tried and I cannot see the response. You can see here, right? Or you can say, let's say, so I'm given the code, I'm given the message says write a code to schedule the Salesforce Apex for every month's first Monday. Let's see, click on send the button and see what really happens. Are we able to get the information or not? It's definitely going to take some time to give you the information because it's making the request to the third party system and then giving the data, fetching the data and pulling it here and giving you the response. So you can see it says sorry, as an AI language I don't have access to Salesforce or its syntax. However, I can provide you the with the general steps, right? It has provided the steps that you can easily use. Or if you can now say here, so I have given write a code, this write the sample code to download the file using node.js, and it's going to again do the processing, send the request to the server, and once everything is done, everything is okay, we are going to get the response back here, and we will see the response here. You can see this is the simple code it has given us in the form of code, some HTML. We are able to see all those details, right? So that's just the basic thing that I have covered in the Postman. You could try the other endpoints like edit image or media. Okay, you can go ahead and try it. Now let's see how we can implement this using Salesforce Apex. So I've already created a class. This is just the syntax, nothing else. Okay. In this class, we are going to have a very simple method that I'm going to create a static method, publish static void, generate response. Just the method, okay? Publish static void, generate response. Here we have to make the API calls to fetch the information from our ChatGPT. So to make the API calls, we really need HTTP request method, HTTP request object. Okay. So HTTP request is a class which actually is responsible for making a request to the third party system. And this class has the various methods like set endpoint. This is going to be the URL that we wanted to hit. Then it's have a set method. Here we need to use post because post is our method. Then it also has like set headers, and here we can provide the value in the form of key and value. So one is content type, right? So content hyphen type, and the value for this is application by JSON. And then there is another header. So we have that header key is authorization. The key I will take from Postman as well as the value so that there is no typo mistake. Let's take the endpoint value as well from the Postman or the document, paste it here. Now there is also a method called setBody which is going to accept the body in the form of JSON. Let's have body variable. We have not created, we will create, right? So let's create the variable here. Currently this body is having the blank value. We are going to prepare the body. Now to send the information to other system, we really need HTTP class. Okay, so HTTP class has a method called send, and this method is going to accept the request that we have just prepared, and this actually returns the HTTP response, and that contains the response, either success or error response. Now here we could have a condition. Let's say if under this response there is a method called get status code, and this status code actually gives us either 200 or 201 or any status code. It could be success or error status code. If we get back to our Postman, we really see the status code is coming as 200. So we can check here if the status code is equal to 200, that means there was a success request, else there was an error request. Okay, that's what we have. Now let's prepare this body first. So this is the body that we really wanted to send to the ChatGPT, and this has to be prepared in the form of a string. So how we will prepare is navigate to Google and then search for admin booster JSON to Apex. Okay, and then select the first link that you will get, JSON to Apex online tool. So remove the default JSON that is populated there, and then after providing your JSON, click on generate Apex code, and from the bottom within the test method get this string JSON that we have, and here we are going to paste. Now our body is prepared, we are sending the body, we are getting the request, and then here we could just do the system.debug, and under this method there is a method like under HTTP response class there is a method called get body that actually gives you the body in the form of a string, the response body. Okay, now if you see here, right, this is the static text. We're sending a static text here. If we really wanted to make it dynamic, what we can do is we can accept a parameter. Let's say that query text, and in order to make this dynamic, just go ahead and remove everything within while your cursor is within the double quotes. Just use two single quotes and then two plus sign, paste your variable here, do the right click and deploy the code. If you are writing this code into your developer console, you really just need to use Ctrl S to save the code. Okay, and we are done with the basic structure, but still we are getting some error which says that incorrect signature HTTP request from ChatGPT class, line number 4. Oh, we forgot to put the new keyword. So our code is there now in Salesforce org. The basic structure we are able to develop it. Now we really need to test it. Okay, so before we go ahead and test it, let's copy this URL because we are trying to make the API call to third party system, and that is OpenAI. Okay, so how Salesforce will know that this is an authentic request? So for that, we really need to add the URL into the remote site setting of our Salesforce org where we have created the code. So log into your Salesforce org. From the setup quick search box, search for remote, okay, and you will find remote site settings under security. Click on this remote site settings and then click on new remote site, and you can provide the name of your remote site without having a space or a special character or underscore. So you can have, I've just given OpenAI and paste the URL that we've just copied. It's going to trim the other part which is not needed. It's only going to take the base URL. You can clearly see here, right, the base URL is there now. And make sure that the active checkbox is checked. If the remote site is not active, you would really not able to access the request to the from the third party, which is api.openai.com. Now let's go to the developer console. I'm going to prepare how we are going to call. So the method is like ChatGPT class dot generate response. This is our method, okay, and it is going to accept the parameter. So we will say hello. Just we are going to start with the basic, and then we will move forward, and then we will see what the advanced we can do. So open the debug log anonymous window from the developer console, okay, and paste the code that we have just copied. We prepared the method call. Make sure this open log checkbox is checked and click on execute. So once you click on execute, we will see some response is there, and if you filter it by the selecting the checkbox called debug only, you would see the response that we are able to get, and the content says that how can I help you, how can I assist you today. You're not getting the complete response because developer console usually used to trim the response after a certain length. That's why, but we see the response is there, success response is coming up. What we will do is we are also going to put the debug line that is there within line number 6, sorry 26, under the success response. We are also going to put under the error, and we are also going to have one more debug. We'll say error occurred. The reason, if there is any error, we can easily see that there has been any error. Now if we talk about the response that we get from the OpenAI, okay, the response that we usually get is that is you clearly see here in the developer console, okay. So we really wanted to parse this response in our Apex class so that we can get the information that we are looking for. So let's quickly create a wrapper class within the ChatGPT class itself. So this is the response that we get, right? So we really have to add the variables here to parse the response. So to parse this, again we are going to utilize the same admin booster. For me the link is already opened. If you have closed, then go ahead and open the adminbooster.com and paste your JSON here that we have just copied, the response JSON this time, and click on generate class. So you will see that there are multiple, the class has been generated for us. Just go ahead and copy the required inner classes and variables that is going to have up to here without, like, before this parse method, okay, there is a parse method. We need to copy the data before parse method and come back to our VS code and paste it. So this is basically something that we have. Now if we talk about we really don't need the object, we really don't need the created, we also don't need the model and usage as well, right? So let's go ahead and get rid of these variables and then get rid of this class usage as well, okay. Now this is this is the information that we have for now with us. Now if you see here, we have got these two classes. So let's quickly go ahead, cut these classes and paste outside of the wrapper class, and make sure it is having a identifier, a specifier, either global or public. And let's change this to proper names. I'm going to say class as choices and class as message, and here we will say it's going to be choices, and this variable line number 38 is going to be changed to message. So now we have got the information that we really needed, and what exactly we need is we need this content. We really need this content, okay. So first thing what we will do is let's quickly deserialize the response. Okay, so how we will say and do is we'll say chat wrapper, provide a name, it could be anything, and we will say system.json dot deserialize. There is a method called deserialize. It takes two parameter, the string that you wanted to deserialize from string to object, so provide the string, and then what is the type, in which object or class you wanted to deserialize. So this is chat wrapper dot class. Okay, now this deserialize method actually returns the object which is the superclass. So we need to typecast, so using the opening and closing parenthesis, paste it your name, and now we would be able to typecast it, and now we will get the response within this wrapper class, the wrapper object. Now from this wrapper we really need to navigate to choices, which is an array. Okay, so let's quickly first create the list of choices. So how we will create, we will say list of ChatGPT class dot choices. So this is our parent class and this is our child class, and we can provide the name as choices equal to how we wanted to navigate wrapper dot choices. Now we can put a condition here. We can say if choices is not equal to null and the length or the size of choices is really greater than 1. That means there is at least one response. If that's the case, we are going to create the single object and create a variable called choice. It could be anything, and get the first index, because we really need only first index. This is what we've got under choice. And under the choice there is message variable, under message there is a variable called content, and this is what we need. So we can check again here using a if condition. If choice dot message is not equal to null, that means there is something on message. Then we might say string content equal to choice dot message dot content, and let's do the system dot debug for this content and save it. So it's pretty easy. We took the response from the Postman. We use the JSON like admin booster JSON to Apex to generate the class for our JSON file. We have utilized the wrapper class here. Okay, we have made a little bit changes based on the like for the naming convention, and then we deserialize the string into the object, and then like we just go ahead and traverse into the different objects, different variables. The same way we have just gone through and found our content here, and if I deploy it, I'm successfully able to deploy it. Now let's get back to developer console again. Okay, and open the execute anomalous window. You will see your code is already there. Go ahead and click on execute. So this time we would see the debug log, and that is going to give us the content which says that hello, how can I assist you today, and the top content is already there because we are also printing that. Now you can again open the developer console and you can say let's try to put some Salesforce related steps over here. Okay, so I put here how to create the content version in Apex class Salesforce, and let's go ahead and execute this time. So we will see what really happens. Either we are getting the response within the CPU timeout, and if you're getting the response, are we really getting the correct response? Are we really able to parse it or not? So our code has been successfully executed. Let's filter it out, and you can see here this is the complete response. We got it. Okay, and we are able to clearly see, right? We are able to clearly see the response that ChatGPT is giving to us, and we have also made our Apex class as dynamic, right? Few tweak that we could make in our Apex classes, we could make this Apex class as aura enabled. Okay, so that this class can be easily referenced from our lightning web component, and or maybe what we can do is we can create another class, not class, another method that is going to be aura enabled, public static Return type for now, let's make it as a string, and method we can say, so the method name is generate response from GPT. It's going to accept a single parameter, and let's call this method here generate response and pass this value. Okay, and let's remove this or enable from our method. Now if you see that our method is not returning anything, so let's change the return type of our method is to string. Okay, and we are going to now create this content variable before we check the condition if there is success or error, with the blank value initialized in it. And in the line number 23 we are going to remove the data type. So we have got the content now, and this content we will use as a return statement. And now here we are going to say string content equal to whatever we are getting from our method called generate response, and we could just do the return statement from here, so that our aura component or our lightning web component can easily get the response from the provider, not provider, from our open AI, that is ChatGPT. So this is it for this video. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you watching the video till here. Before you go ahead, please give it a like, share, subscribe. Also press the bell icon so that it really motivates us to create the videos in different topics, different scenarios. And if you have any scenario for us, please put into the comment section of this video, and we will try to incorporate into the coming videos. Thank you, and we will meet into the next video.